What's up everyone? My name is Lance with the Living in Sacramento team, and today we have a fun one for you. We are going to be showing you where in the greater Sacramento area, if you are looking for a little bit more nature, a little bit more of that country vibe or country feel, where you can find a house, a single family home with a little bit of land. Let's get to it. All right, so today's video, we're gonna be jumping onto the map. So we're gonna be showcasing where in the greater Sacramento metro that you can find properties on some acreage. Now, a lot of times when people think of moving or relocating to California, they think of Southern California, they think of beaches, they think of Hollywood, they think of movie stars, actors, actresses, all of that stuff, right? Now, when we talk about Northern California, we've got a very different vibe as it relates to Northern California, and I would say even Sacramento, California. But it's not all just tract homes and city life and city living. There is a lot of very beautiful nature that Sacramento has. So we're gonna cover about 5 or 6 areas. We're just gonna kind of flow around the map here real quick and kind of show you where you can find some properties that have some acreage or some land, right? So being where we're located at, we're gonna be located in the Central Valley. The greater Sacramento metro is gonna be primarily built up of a couple of different counties, right? You're gonna have Sacramento County, which is gonna be pretty much everything that's going to be right around the city of Sacramento. You're gonna include some suburbs like Citrus Heights, Fair Oaks, Orangeville, Rancho Cordova, Elk Grove, Folsom. But as you start going up towards Highway 80 and Highway 50, you're gonna start entering into the Sierra Nevada foothills. And even if you're going out Highway 16 towards Rancho Murrieta, you're gonna enter into 3 different counties. You're gonna have Placer County, which is going to be up Highway 80 towards North Lake Tahoe. You're gonna have El Dorado County, which is gonna be up Highway 50 towards Placerville and South Lake Tahoe. And then you're gonna have Amador County, which is gonna be on your way out towards Amador City, Sutter Creek, Jackson. So you're gonna have a little bit more options as it relates to rural properties. So if you're moving to the greater Sacramento area, but you want some property that has a little bit of land, we're gonna look and kind of show you where there are different pockets where you can find 1 acre, 2 acres, 5 acres. Maybe you wanna have a homestead here. Maybe you want 5 to 10 acres, right? You want some horses, you want some cows, chickens, goats, whatever that may look like. So we're gonna cover, maybe 5 to 6 different areas, just kind of whatever pops up. And the cool thing is, I will say that most of this stuff, really you got kind of Auburn, Placerville, Plymouth, and even some of the stuff up here towards like Plumas Lake, Olivehurst, Yuba City, you're probably within maybe, I would say, a 45 to an hour commute at some of the longer parts. So you can still be a little bit further out into some of those areas where, there's a little bit more land, there's a little bit more space between you and your neighbor. It's gonna be a little bit nicer. It's gonna be a little quieter, right? So, the closer you are to Sacramento, right, it's gonna be hustle, bustle. It's gonna be Kings games and River Cats games and Sacramento Republic. And, and to be quite honest, I'm actually, kind of more of the type that I would prefer to kind of get out, especially in kind of this like North Auburn, Placerville, really kind of where you start to see some of this green start to happen. Even Penryn, Newcastle, El Dorado Hills, Shingle Springs, some of those areas, they just have a different feel and a different vibe. So right now, for the sake of purposes, we're just gonna keep everything 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes. And we're gonna start off with 1 acre, and then we're gonna go up from there. We'll go 1 acre, 3 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres, right? We'll keep everything at $1 million under. So right now, as you can see, there are gonna be certain pockets in certain areas of Sacramento County, Roseville, even South Sacramento area, Wilton. Wilton's another one of those areas that's kind of got a little bit more rural farm, agricultural farmland kind of out there, where you can find some properties out there, right? This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and it's gonna be on 2 acres. But, really when we're starting to look at it, we're gonna see a lot of clusters and a lot of pockets. And those are gonna be centered around those 3 main areas that we kind of talked about with the 80 freeway, the 50 freeway, or even Highway 16. Now, another one that we wanna kind of point out, we went up to Plumas Lake not too long ago. And then we also got, Highway 70 that goes north towards Yuba City, and we got Highway 65, which is gonna take you out past Rockland into kind of that Lincoln, Wheatland, Sheridan area, right? So the cool thing is you have a lot of different options as it relates to, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom homes with 1 acre. Now, 1 acre may not seem like a lot to a lot of people. It's still a little bit of land to take care of. But let's jump it up to 3 acres and kind of see what that weeds out to, and then really kind of break it down. So 3 acres, you still have a lot of those same areas, right? So, we're gonna jump in here. You've got Placerville, you're gonna have Auburn, Cool, you're going to have Meadow Vista, and now each of these areas are going to have slightly a different feel. And then you're going to have Lincoln, right? So as we look out the kind of that Lincoln Sheridan area, we're going to start our way north, and then we're going to work down to the southern side, down by Jackson and Pioneer and Amador City. Now, a lot of these areas are going to be kind of in that border of the foothills, right? Now, if you're thinking about moving to any one of these areas, one of the things that we want to factor in there is going to be any type of added insurance by living in the foothills. Living in some of those more wooded areas can cause a higher insurance rate. We have great people as it relates to insurance, but starting north, you're going to have Camp Far West Lake, you're going to have Wheatland, Sheridan, and then Lincoln's going to be down here. Like we said on the last Lincoln video when we were out there, there's a lot of different country land that's going to be out kind of behind Lincoln City, Lincoln proper. It's still going to be part of that 95648 zip code. So you're going to have like Calaga Springs. This is going to be a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,900 square foot home. This one's going to be on 4.6 acres, you know, so 4.6 acres, almost 5. You know, it's got a spot for, you know, indoor garden shed, you know, kind of rural, kind of country road. You know, it's going to have a lot of natural amenities, but Lincoln has some really cool properties like that out there. Even kind of going a little bit closer to like Camp Far West. You know, this one's going to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2,400 square feet. Now, a lot of these homes are going to be sitting on the market for a little bit because they are a little bit further out away from, you know, grocery stores. And if you still have a job where you have to commute into Sacramento or Lincoln or Roseville or Rockland, Sheridan is going to be another one of those areas as well too. You know, this one's going to be, you know, almost on 10 acres for $699, right? 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. So definitely a lot of different options as it relates. Now, Lincoln is going to be still pretty flat. You're not going to be so much in the foothills like some of the houses that we'll show you kind of in like Newcastle and Auburn and some of these areas up there. But as we kind of go and branch, there is going to be a freeway that takes you from Lincoln over to Auburn, Newcastle area. It's called Highway 193. And there's going to be some more kind of a little bit more wooded area type places that are going to be up here. But you're going to have, you know, Central Auburn. You're going to have North Auburn up here as well. Clipper Gap. So, you know, this one, $775. It's a 3 to 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,600 square foot home. Been on the market for about 92 days. Just had a price reduction. You know, this one's going to be on about 13 acres. So again, this one looks like it's either been recently redone or recently flipped, you know, but super nice on the inside, $775. Not a bad price for, you know, almost 12 to 13 acres. So kind of depends on what the topography is, but you know, Auburn, North Auburn, kind of that Clipper Gap area, you're going to start feeling a little bit more of that Sierra foothills kind of vibe and that feel. So you're going to be kind of at that base. You know, but this house looks like it's been recently remodeled, recently redone. You know, $775 for, you know, almost 13 acres. Now, coming up here a little bit further east, you're also going to have a town called Meadow Vista. Now, Meadow Vista is going to have a lot more of that wooded feel, and this is where really kind of between Clipper Gap and really kind of, I would say, you know, Clipper Gap is kind of where they start to issue some of the warnings for chain control. Usually after Colfax is where you really start to see it kind of take into effect, as between Colfax and, you know, North Lake Tahoe. But you have a couple of different areas down here, and then they're just going to be kind of sparse. So as you kind of go up 80, and the cool thing is the 80 freeway, in my opinion, is still a little bit faster than, let's say, like the 50 freeway. So let's say you're up here in Meadow Vista, Colfax, you know, down to Meadow Vista to the international airport, still puts you at right about, you know, 45 minutes, you know, with traffic right now at, you know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So kind of keep that in mind. Still not bad. You're still within that hour commute, but now you're starting to get into some of the more foothills, a little bit more of that rural feel. You're still going to have grocery stores, and they still have some pretty good restaurants. One of our favorite restaurants is actually in Meadow Vista, but you know, then you're going to find, you know, homes up there, 950. So this is all going to be 3 acres or more. So you still have some space between you and your neighbor. But you know, 950, 4 to 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 4,100 square foot home. This one's going to be on 3 acres exactly. And again, you've got some space. You're definitely going to have a lot more kind of that natural forest, Sierra Nevada forest kind of feel to it. But a lot of people, again, you probably landed on this channel because you're looking up Sacramento because that's the main city in our area. And you probably don't think that a lot of this stuff is available, but you know, this is one of those things where that phone number is going to be popping up. We are the ones that answer every phone call, email, and text message. And this is what it kind of comes down to, you guys reaching out to us, so that way we can get to understand what some of your goals are and what kind of like lifestyle do you want to live. Because most of what we do is we really kind of help you rule out anywhere between 70 to 90% of some of the areas. But a lot of people don't even realize that like some of these things are an option as it relates to moving to California, moving to the Sacramento area. They think that they need to be in, you know, Sacramento proper, or even some of the suburbs that we've covered on this channel, like Roseville, Rockland, Folsom, Elk Grove, things like that. So, you know, this is going to be one of those houses. So it's got a pool, super gorgeous, kind of that serene, you know, kind of wooded feel, wooded vibe feel, you know, 90s to early 2000s kind of oak flooring. But, you know, very nice home, very nicely done. But that's just kind of one of those things where as you start to kind of expand and realize what you can get. All right, so now moving a little bit further south, kind of over to the east. Now you're gonna have this kind of area in between like Highway 80 and Highway 50, right? So you're gonna have cool Coloma, you're gonna have, you know, kind of some of the old gold mining areas that are gonna be off of some of this rivers up here out in Lotus. But Cool is another one of those areas where there's actually a lot of really nice homes that are gonna be back here. There's a really awesome community called Auburn Lake Trails where you can, you know, board horses, and they have like a great, you know, kind of HOA facility. Most of the homes that you find in Cool are going to be a part of Auburn Lake Trails, but not always. But usually they have, you know, everything's kind of set up equestrian style. Now this particular house, $799. It is going to be on 20 acres, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,800 square feet. So if you got a little bit of a budget that you're wanting to spend and you're wanting to be out there, this is kind of a nice area that you're going to be able to experience, you know, just more peace, quiet, kind of being away from your neighbors. But for like 20 acres, you know, you get like a pretty traditional house, and you know, you're going to have lots of land. This is still going to have a little bit more of that kind of rolling foothills feel, but super gorgeous properties out there. Most of the homes, even if you go a little bit less than the 3-acre mark, will be a part of like Auburn Lake Trails. I don't think that this home is a part of that, but you know, definitely super nice, super gorgeous. Now, the one thing about Cool is it's a little bit easier to access Cool from the, I would say it's a little bit easier to access Cool from the 50 side, although it's very close to Auburn. You do have this pretty gnarly road, Highway 49, that goes down into the canyon underneath the Forest Hill Bridge and comes back the other side. So you got a couple of, you know, not fun turns, but, you know, great area. You got Pilot Hill, you got Coloma. Now getting a little bit closer to, you know, the other main city that's going to be off of Highway 50 outside of like El Dorado Hills, Cameron Park, Shingle Springs, you're going to have Placerville, right? So you're going to have a lot of this stuff that's going to be kind of in between Rescue, you know, and some of that out there, but a lot of different options. Now Placerville is going to be one of the main cities that's going to be off of the 50 freeway. And you're going to have a lot of cool things up there. You're going to have Camino, you're going to have Apple Hill, great places to visit in the fall, but you're going to get a little bit more close to that wooded vibe feel like you kind of experience up at Auburn, right? So again, up the 50 side, this is going to be one of the major cities as you're headed up towards South Lake Tahoe. But you're going to have a couple of different options here. You're going to have some things down in Diamond Springs. Cool thing is Placerville also has some pretty awesome views up there. So, you know, this one is $699. It's a 3 to 4 bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,200 square foot. Now at both the Auburn and the Placerville level, you don't get snow too often. Did have some clients that just moved up there 2 or 3 years ago, and both of those years we had record rainfall, and they did show me pictures of them getting snow. But this one, you know, you've got some pretty awesome views. You know, it's kind of built up there on a crest or a hill, so they've got a little doughboy pool, but you know, those are some of the views that you can see kind of east towards the Sierra Nevada mountain ranges. Awesome wraparound deck, super gorgeous, right? So again, these are just to kind of expose you and kind of give you some more options or thoughts or things that you can kind of see that are going to have some pretty awesome views in some of these areas that are part of the greater Sacramento metro, but they're not in like Sacramento proper or Sacramento County. So, you know, this house, you know, $699. This one's going to be on you know, just over 5 acres. There is one more community that's out here it's still technically kind of quote unquote a part of Placerville, but it's a little community called Swansboro. It's going to be off of Mosquito Road. They're getting ready to build a bridge that kind of helps kind of span this canyon that's right here. But once that bridge is kind of in, I think these home values in this area are going to go up because it's going to be a lot easier to get to. But this is going to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,300 square feet. You're going to be on just a little over 4 acres. There's a gorgeous pond back here. It almost feels like you're in a little world of your own back in Swansboro. So they've got their own little like private little airstrip where you can actually fly into the community if you have your private pilot's license. Super awesome community as it relates to just kind of just being tucked back in there. You're probably about 20 to 25 minutes away from Placerville because of the Canyon Road right now, but super cool. But you know, I would say even from Placerville, you're still probably about a 45 to 50 minute drive to downtown Sacramento or to Sacramento International Airport. Now, continuing going south, now you're gonna have kind of places like Diamond Springs, and you're gonna have 49 that's gonna take you over to like Plymouth, and then that's gonna enter you into Amador County. Now, Amador County is going to be your third county that's going to kind of border up to Sacramento County, and they're going to have similar things. So Amador County, you've got Jackson, Sutter Creek. This is also where they're going to have some pretty awesome wineries. Placerville also has some pretty awesome wineries up by Apple Hill too. You got Boger, but Amador County is also known for some pretty stellar wineries out there too, though. So you got cities like Dry Town, Ione, Jackson, Pioneer, Sutter Creek. Prices are going to be a little bit different here, but again, this is what you can get for, you know, this is all going to be under $1 million, 3+ acres, and it really kind of just depends on your price point and then what your work and family life are going to be like. But all right, so this house is going to be in Sutter Creek, 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,100 square feet, 500 grand. This one's going to be sitting on just at 5 acres, so a little bit cheaper price point than maybe some of the other houses that we've looked at, but this one's going to be still a little bit more original. You've got those vaulted ceilings, exposed wood beams. You've got, you know, that super kind of cabin-like feel, kind of the knotty pine vibe in this house. But, you know, a little bit of updating, a little bit of, you know, things that need to be done to it to kind of bring it up to, you know, what a lot of people have been leaning a little bit more towards. But, you know, a lot of times people are not looking for those houses out in these areas for that. They're looking for the space, they're looking for what they can do on the land. A lot of people are really getting into homesteading, growing their own gardens, having chickens, having goats, having some of those things as it relates to, you know, being able to eat some of your own food that you make. So a lot of times the purpose of this video was to just kind of expose you to what is available in our area, what is available that a lot of people don't really think about Sacramento. When they think about Sacramento, they're thinking about downtown Sacramento, they're thinking about stuff that makes it into the news, they're thinking about, you know, some of those other elements, but there's a lot of other areas outside of the greater Sacramento metro that makes up Sacramento metro, right? So you're gonna have foothills, you're gonna have stuff in Auburn, Placerville, Diamond Springs, Plymouth, Sutter Creek, and even stuff up towards Lincoln. But there are gonna be a few areas that are gonna be a little bit closer. So you even have some of the stuff that's gonna be kind of like, you know, this is going to be a little town called Pleasant Grove. This is going to be off of the 99 freeway, 860. This one's been on the market for 85 days. This one's going to be on a little over 3 acres. So there are going to be a couple of things that are going to be a little bit closer to, you know, the greater Sacramento area, and you even have some stuff out here in Woodland, right? So that one's going to be at $1 million. But that's what this channel is all about, is exposing you to areas that you may not have known about. So that phone number is going to be showing back up on the screen. Go ahead, pause the video, take a screenshot, give us a call, shoot us that text, or send us that email, so that way we can get on the phone with you, figure out, you know, really kind of what your lifestyle is like, what you're really looking for, and just to know that there are some of the other available options as opposed to just living within the city limits of, you know, Sacramento or the greater Sacramento metro. So that phone number is still up there. We absolutely love it when you guys reach out to us, or better yet, in the description below, there will be a link where you can book a one-on-one appointment so we can actually sit down, meet you via Zoom, and actually get to know your goals and figure out what's going to be the best area for you when you're thinking about making the move to the greater Sacramento metro.